Good evening. You've arrived at a quiet place meant for rest. There is nothing you need to do here, nothing you need to understand, nothing you need to remember. Tonight, this is simply a slow science story. It's told gently, at an even pace, and designed to remain in the background as you rest. You don't need to listen closely. You don't need to follow each sentence. If your attention drifts, that's completely fine. Your body already knows how to rest without instruction. Breathing continues on its own. The surface beneath you is already providing support. There's no need to adjust anything unless your body naturally wants to. This recording isn't here to guide you toward an outcome. It isn't building toward a conclusion. It doesn't depend on sequence or detail. Everything you'll hear tonight is based on well-established scientific understanding, not ideas meant to impress, not theories meant to surprise, just observations that have been measured, tested, and quietly accepted over time. They'll be shared slowly, without urgency, without emphasis, because nothing described here is happening quickly, and nothing requires your attention. If you fall asleep at any point, that's expected. If you remain awake for a while, that's fine too. There's no correct way to experience this. The story doesn't change if you miss a sentence. It doesn't rely on memory. It simply continues, steady and predictable. You may notice pauses between phrases. Those pauses are intentional. They allow the nervous system to settle without being asked to do anything at all. As you rest, thoughts may come and go. Some may feel unfinished. Others may fade before they fully form. There's no need to follow them, no need to push them away. The voice you hear is not here to lead. It's here to remain consistent, to provide a calm reference point that doesn't ask for engagement. Tonight's focus is on slow change, on processes that unfold over very long periods of time, so gradually that they don't announce themselves. Like many natural systems, these changes continue whether or not they are observed. They don't hurry, they don't pause. And as the night continues, this quiet science story will move in the same way, evenly, predictably, without demanding anything from you. You can continue resting exactly as you are, listening if you want to, not listening if you don't. Nothing here depends on an outcome. As you continue resting, there's no need to change your position unless your body naturally wants to. If stillness is already present, it can remain. Breathing is happening on its own. It doesn't need guidance. It doesn't need to be slower or deeper. Each breath arrives, and then it leaves, at a pace your body has already chosen. There's no need to notice where one breath ends and the next begins. The rhythm doesn't require attention to continue. The weight of your body is already being supported. Nothing is being held up. Nothing needs to stay alert. The surface beneath you remains steady. It doesn't shift. It doesn't respond. Your muscles don't need to release all at once. There's no requirement for complete relaxation. Rest doesn't depend on perfection. It only depends on safety and time. The face may feel neutral, not tense, not loose, just present. The jaw doesn't need to be positioned carefully. The tongue can rest wherever it happens to be. The eyes don't need to focus on anything. If the eyelids are closed, they can remain that way without effort. If they are open, they don't need to stay open. The shoulders may feel heavy, not pulled downward, simply supported by gravity doing what it always does. Your arms are already in place. They don't need symmetry. They don't need adjustment. They can remain exactly where they are. Lower in the body, the chest rises and falls gently, not in a fixed pattern, not in a rhythm that needs to be corrected. Breathing adjusts on its own, moment by moment, without asking for permission. The abdomen moves slightly with each breath. There's no need to hold it in, no need to control it. Your legs are already resting. Their weight is being carried without effort. There's nothing to balance, nothing to stabilize. The feet don't need attention. They don't need to feel warm or heavy or relaxed. They can simply exist at the far end of the body, quiet, unremarkable. As these sensations remain steady, the nervous system begins to register the absence of demand. There's no task waiting, no response required, no signal that something needs to change. This is often when mental activity starts to soften, not because it's being pushed away, but because there's nothing it needs to react to. Thoughts may still appear, fragments of the day, loose images, unfinished ideas. They don't need to be organized. They don't need to be resolved. They can pass through awareness the way sounds pass through a quiet room, present for a moment, then gone. If your attention drifts away from these words, that's completely fine. The body doesn't need continuous input. It responds just as well to consistency and tone. The voice you're hearing isn't here to guide you somewhere specific. It isn't here to change how you are breathing or resting. It's here to remain steady, predictable, even. There's nowhere else to be right now. Nothing else to prepare for. The night doesn't require readiness. You can continue resting exactly as you are, breathing, supported, unchanged. The body already knows how to do this. As the body remains supported, attention often becomes less focused on specific sensations. Not because they disappear, but because they no longer need to be checked. There isn't a clear moment when this shift happens. It doesn't announce itself. It unfolds quietly, the way many natural changes do. In the evening, light fades gradually. There's no single point when day becomes night. The transition happens slowly, without instruction. Temperature adjusts in the same way. Air cools a little at a time, so gradually that it's easy not to notice. Sound often softens too. Activity decreases. Distances feel larger. These changes don't require coordination. They don't respond to attention. They continue whether or not anyone is aware of them. The body is familiar with this kind of rhythm. It evolved in environments shaped by repetition and slow variation, not by constant signals or rapid shifts. Because of that, predictability tends to feel safe. It doesn't demand quick reactions. It doesn't suggest urgency. When nothing new is being introduced, the nervous system doesn't need to stay alert. This same pattern appears throughout the natural world. Many processes unfold at a pace that doesn't call for observation. They aren't driven by moments. They aren't marked by sudden changes. Instead, they move forward steadily, shaped by conditions that remain consistent over time. In physics, large systems often behave this way. Once established, they continue along stable paths, not because they're being guided, but because there is nothing pushing them to change quickly. These motions don't need supervision. They don't need correction. They persist quietly, even when they aren't being measured. Descriptions of such systems tend to feel calm, not because they are simple in every detail, but because the underlying patterns don't shift abruptly. There's nothing hidden behind the description. No surprise waiting to appear, just continuity. In the background of daily life, countless slow processes are always underway. They don't interrupt, they don't compete for attention. They form a steady foundation beneath faster events. The mind doesn't need to track them closely. It only needs to recognize that they're there, ongoing, unaffected by momentary changes. This kind of awareness doesn't sharpen focus, it softens it. There's no need to imagine specific scenes, no need to hold detailed images. If images appear on their own, they can pass naturally. What matters more is the sense of gradual movement, the feeling of things continuing at a pace that doesn't rush toward an outcome. In this state, time can feel less structured. Minutes don't need to be counted. There's no sequence to follow. The voice continues at an even pace, not to hold attention, but to remain consistent, a reference point that doesn't require monitoring. This is often when thinking becomes less verbal, less linear. Not because it stops entirely, but because it no longer needs to organize itself around tasks or decisions. Rest doesn't arrive suddenly. It settles in layers, first in the body, then in the breath, and gradually in the space around thoughts. There's no need to notice when that happens, no need to mark the transition. The process continues on its own. Among the many slow processes that exist in the natural world, stars are some of the most steady. From Earth, they often appear unchanged, night after night, year after year. Their positions seem fixed, their light seems constant, and on a human timescale, that impression is mostly accurate. Stars are physical objects. They are made of matter. They follow the same physical laws as everything else. But the conditions they exist in allow them to remain stable for extremely long periods of time. A single star can continue in roughly the same state for millions or even billions of years. That length of time is difficult to relate to everyday experience. On the scale of a single night or a single lifetime, a star does not noticeably change. Its light does not flicker suddenly. Its structure does not shift in ways that can be felt or seen without instruments. This long stability is one of the reasons stars have been used as reference points throughout human history. They appear reliable, predictable. But that reliability does not come from stillness. It comes from balance. Inside a star, physical processes are continuously taking place. They do not stop. They do not pause. Yet they remain organized in a way that keeps the star's overall structure steady. This balance does not require adjustment from the outside. It does not need correction or guidance. Once established, it maintains itself under consistent conditions. Because of this, most of a star's existence is spent in a long, steady phase, not changing dramatically, not moving toward a sudden outcome. This is the state in which stars spend the majority of their lives. The changes that do occur during this time happen very slowly, so slowly that they do not draw attention. From a distance and over short periods, a star appears almost the same from one moment to the next. Its light reaches Earth after traveling through space for years, sometimes much longer. By the time that light arrives, the star itself may have shifted slightly from the state it was in when the light was emitted. But those shifts are small, gradual. Nothing about this process happens abruptly. Stars do not respond to observation. They do not behave differently when they are noticed. They continue their internal processes whether or not anyone is watching. This is part of what makes them easy to place in the background of awareness. They are present, they are ongoing. They do not demand interaction. When described scientifically, stars are understood as systems governed by simple principles repeated over very long timescales. The details can be complex when examined closely, but the overall behavior remains calm and predictable. There is no need to follow every detail of how a star functions. The body does not benefit from tracking that information. It's enough to recognize that stars persist. They remain in place relative to the vast distances around them. They change slowly, without urgency. In the night sky, this steadiness becomes part of the environment, a constant pattern behind faster movements. The Earth rotates, clouds pass, seasons shift, and through all of that, stars continue in their long, stable states. They do not speed up to match shorter rhythms. They do not slow down to draw attention. They simply remain. This kind of persistence is common in large physical systems. Once a stable configuration is formed, it tends to last. There is no need for effort to keep it in place, no need for monitoring. The conditions that support it are already present. And because these conditions change only very gradually, the systems they support remain steady as well. As the night continues, stars remain far beyond immediate awareness. Their slow processes continue without interruption. They are not moving toward a moment that needs to be anticipated. They are not approaching a change that needs preparation. They exist on timescales where urgency does not apply. And that steadiness can remain quietly in the background, unnoticed if you prefer, present without requiring attention. For most of their existence, stars remain in a long, stable condition. They are not constantly changing shape. They are not moving from one state to another quickly. Instead, they spend the majority of their time maintaining balance. Inside a star, energy is produced continuously, not in bursts, not in sudden events. This energy comes from processes occurring deep within the star, where matter is held under extreme conditions. These processes release energy slowly and steadily. That energy moves outward through the star. At the same time, the star's mass creates an inward pull. The two effects balance each other. Outward pressure, inward gravity. Neither one overwhelms the other. Because of this balance, the star remains stable. Its size stays nearly the same. Its overall structure holds. This balance does not need to be actively maintained. It is not adjusted moment by moment. Once the conditions are set, the balance persists naturally. This state can last for an extremely long time, millions of years, often much longer. On a human timescale, this entire phase appears almost motionless. Night after night, the light from a star arrives at Earth with the same quiet consistency. It does not signal change. It does not suggest urgency. The star is not moving toward an immediate transformation. It is not preparing for an event. It is simply continuing. The internal processes do not speed up. They do not slow down abruptly. They proceed at a pace determined by the star's own physical properties. From the outside, there is little to notice. No visible sign that anything is shifting. Even though matter is being transformed deep within the star, the overall appearance remains calm and steady. This is why stars can feel like fixed points in the sky. Not because nothing is happening, but because what is happening unfolds so slowly. The body tends to respond well to this kind of steadiness. When patterns remain consistent, there is no need for vigilance. There is nothing to anticipate, nothing to prepare for. The star does not approach a conclusion during this phase. It does not move toward resolution. It remains in this balanced state for most of its lifetime. Only much later do conditions begin to shift in a noticeable way. But that shift is not sudden. It begins as a very gradual change inside the star. So gradual that it does not disturb the overall balance right away. For long periods, the star continues as it always has. This extended stability is not unusual in large physical systems. When forces are evenly matched, change tends to be slow. The system does not drift rapidly toward a new state. It remains where it is. This is part of what makes stars easy to place in the background of awareness. They are not asking for attention. They are not signaling a need for response. They exist quietly, continuing processes that do not require observation. As the night continues, stars remain in these long-lived states. Their internal activity unfolds far beyond any immediate sense of time. There is no moment when they suddenly become different, no clear boundary between one phase and the next. Change, when it comes, arrives gradually. But for now, and for most of their existence, stars remain steady. They continue doing what they have been doing for vast stretches of time, balanced, ongoing, unrushed. And that long consistency can remain in the background, just like the quiet rhythm of breathing, present, unremarkable, not asking to be followed. Even while a star remains stable on the outside, very slow changes continue inside. These changes are not sudden. They do not happen all at once. They unfold gradually, over long periods of time. Deep within a star, matter is constantly being transformed. The process is steady, predictable. As this continues, the internal composition of the star shifts little by little. Not enough to change its appearance, not enough to disrupt its balance right away. From the outside, there is no clear signal that anything is different. The light remains consistent. The structure holds. This is because stars respond slowly to internal change. Large systems often behave this way. When change happens deep within them, it takes time for those changes to affect the whole. An analogy can be helpful here. This is only an analogy, not a description of the physical process itself. It is somewhat like slow settling. Over time, small adjustments occur within a stable structure, but the overall form remains the same. Nothing shifts abruptly. There is no moment when the system suddenly becomes something else. Inside a star, conditions adjust gradually as material is transformed. Pressure changes slightly. Temperature shifts by small amounts. These adjustments happen continuously, but at a pace that does not demand response. The balance described earlier remains in place. Outward pressure and inward gravity continue to match each other closely. As long as that balance holds, the star remains in its long, steady phase. This is why most internal change goes unnoticed from the outside. The system has time to adapt. There is no need for correction, no need for intervention. The star does not react to these changes with urgency. It does not accelerate toward a new state. Instead, it adjusts quietly. This gradual adjustment is part of what defines long-lived physical systems. They do not rush toward outcomes. They move at the pace set by their own conditions. Over time, the internal makeup of the star continues to evolve, but the evolution is smooth. There are no sharp edges to this process, no clear markers separating one moment from the next. From the perspective of a single night, nothing appears to change at all. The light reaching Earth still reflects a stable state. The star still occupies the same place relative to the surrounding sky. This is another reason stars feel dependable. They do not reveal their internal changes in ways that draw attention. They remain consistent, even as slow transformations continue within. The mind does not need to track these internal processes. There is no benefit in following each adjustment. It is enough to recognize that change does not always announce itself. Sometimes it unfolds quietly, beneath the surface. This kind of change does not disrupt rest. It does not introduce uncertainty. It is part of a larger pattern of slow progression. As the night continues, these internal changes remain far beyond awareness. They are not moving toward a moment that needs to be anticipated. They continue at the same unhurried pace they always have. The star remains stable, the balance holds, and the slow internal adjustments continue, quietly and evenly, without calling for attention, just as many processes do. Not all stars change at the same pace. Even though they follow the same physical principles, their timelines can be very different. Some stars remain in their stable states for extraordinarily long periods of time. Others move through their changes more quickly. This difference does not come from intention or direction. It comes from physical conditions that were set long ago. A star's mass plays an important role in how slowly or quickly its internal processes unfold. But there is no need to focus on categories or labels. What matters more is the general pattern. Some systems move slowly, others move a little less slowly. In both cases, change still happens on timescales far removed from everyday experience. A star that changes more quickly does not do so suddenly. Its pace may be faster relative to other stars, but it is still gradual. There are no sharp transitions that appear from one moment to the next, no signals announcing that a phase has ended. The same steady processes continue, simply unfolding on a different timeline. From the perspective of a single night, these differences are not visible. The stars in the sky do not appear to be moving at different speeds through their lives. They all seem equally steady, equally distant. The variation exists only when time is measured across immense spans, millions of years, sometimes billions. On those scales, patterns emerge. Some stars spend longer periods in balance. Others reach internal adjustments sooner. But even then, the changes remain smooth. There is no rush, no acceleration that needs attention. The universe does not hurry these processes. Each star follows the path allowed by its conditions, continuing at a pace that does not respond to observation. This variety does not create disorder. It does not introduce unpredictability. Instead, it adds depth to the overall pattern. Different rhythms unfolding at the same time, all slow, all steady. The night sky holds many of these timelines at once. They overlap quietly. Some stars are earlier in their long periods of stability. Others are further along. But none of this requires awareness. The body does not need to track which star is changing more quickly or more slowly. There is no benefit in comparison. It is enough to recognize that slow change can take many forms, some almost imperceptible, some slightly more noticeable over very long durations. All of them remain far outside the scale of immediate experience. As you rest, these differences continue without interruption. They do not influence the present moment. The stars remain where they are. Their light continues to arrive steadily. Nothing in the sky is moving toward a moment that needs preparation. Each system follows its own long timeline, quietly, evenly. And that range of slow rhythms can remain in the background without needing to be sorted or understood. By now, there is no need to keep track of what has already been said. Nothing here depends on remembering details. Nothing is building toward a conclusion. The ideas you've heard do not move forward in a sequence that needs to be followed. They repeat. They remain. Stars continue in their long, steady states. Their internal processes unfold slowly. The differences in their timelines remain far beyond immediate awareness. These facts do not change from one moment to the next. They do not require further explanation. From here on, there is no advantage in listening closely. If your attention has already drifted, that is completely fine. If you are still hearing the words, there is no need to hold on to them. The voice does not introduce anything new. The pace does not increase. Nothing shifts direction. This is a point of permission. Permission to stop following sentences. Permission to let words lose their meaning. The sound can remain without being processed. Like background noise in a quiet room. The body remains supported. Breathing continues at its own pace. Nothing has changed suddenly. The environment is the same as it was a few moments ago. There is no signal that something important is about to happen. The patterns described earlier continue whether or not they are noticed. Stars remain. Their changes remain slow. The long balance holds. These processes are not affected by observation. They do not pause when they are not considered. They continue because the conditions that support them are still in place. This steadiness allows the mind to let go of effort. When information stops changing, there is no reason to stay alert. There is nothing to monitor. Words may still be heard, but they no longer need to be interpreted. They can pass through awareness without forming clear ideas. This is often where listening becomes effortless, where the voice blends into the background. There is no correct way to experience this moment. Some nights, sleep arrives quickly. Other nights, it arrives in stages. Both are normal. There is nothing here that needs to be completed, nothing that needs to be understood before resting. From this point on, the story does not progress in the way stories usually do. It does not move toward an ending. It does not resolve. It simply stays. The repetition is intentional. The sameness is deliberate. It allows the nervous system to remain settled without effort. If sleep arrives now, nothing is missed. The slow processes described do not change. They continue quietly. And the voice will continue as well, at the same even pace, without introducing anything that needs attention. The stars remain as they were. They continue in their long, steady states. Nothing about them has shifted. The balance inside each star still holds. Outward energy, inward gravity. Neither one changes suddenly. Neither one moves out of place. These conditions remain stable. They do not require attention to continue. The changes described earlier are still happening, but they are happening slowly, at the same pace they always have. There is no new stage being reached, no transition being announced. Stars continue doing what they have been doing for vast stretches of time. They remain present in the night sky. Their light continues to arrive, evenly, quietly. From one moment to the next, there is no difference to notice. The long timelines remain far beyond immediate awareness. They do not press into the present. Nothing is approaching. Nothing is resolving. The processes continue because the conditions remain the same. The stars do not respond to being observed. They do not change when they are not noticed. They follow their paths without deviation. The same steady rhythm holds. This repetition is not meant to teach. It is not meant to clarify. It is meant to remain consistent. Consistency allows the mind to stop checking for change. When nothing new is introduced, there is no reason to stay alert. The body remains supported. Breathing continues without instruction. The environment is unchanged. The voice remains even. Its role does not shift. Words may still be heard, but they no longer need to be understood. They can exist as sound, moving at a predictable pace. The same ideas return gently, not to reinforce meaning, but to maintain rhythm. Stars remain stable. Their changes remain slow. The balance holds. Nothing in this pattern depends on awareness. The processes do not pause when attention fades. They do not accelerate when attention returns. They continue on their own. As the night goes on, this sameness can become easier to ignore. Meaning can soften. Edges can blur. Sentences do not need to be completed. Thoughts do not need to finish. The repetition remains steady. Stars continue, quietly, without urgency. Their long timelines stretch far beyond this moment. There is no need to imagine them clearly, no need to place them in space. It is enough to know that they remain. The voice continues as well, at the same pace, with the same tone. Nothing new is introduced, nothing changes direction. The repetition holds. And in that steadiness, attention can drift further. The timescales that stars follow are very different from the ones we live within. A single night passes quietly. Breathing continues. The body rests. Within that same night, nothing about a star's long path changes in a way that can be noticed. The processes unfolding inside stars extend far beyond hours or days. They move across spans of time that do not fit into ordinary markers. There is no clear beginning to point to, no clear end approaching. From moment to moment, everything appears the same. This contrast is part of what makes these systems feel distant, not because they are unreachable, but because their pace does not intersect with immediate experience. A star can remain in a similar state through countless nights, through many generations. The slow adjustments continue without reference to calendars or clocks. They are not aligned with schedules. They do not speed up or slow down to match shorter rhythms. Time, in this context, is not counted. It is simply passing. The body does not need to understand these scales. There is no benefit in trying to imagine them precisely. It is enough to recognize that some processes move so slowly that they feel almost still. This kind of slowness removes urgency. There is nothing that needs to happen soon, nothing approaching that requires attention. The stars are not waiting for a moment. They are not moving toward a deadline. They continue because they are already in motion. As the night continues, this difference in scale can soften the sense of time passing. Minutes do not need to be tracked. There is no sequence to follow. The voice continues evenly, not marking progress, not signaling transition. The same ideas remain present, quiet, unchanged. Stars remain stable, their changes remain slow. The long spans they follow extend far beyond this moment. Nothing in the sky is responding to the passing of this night. Nothing is affected by whether it is noticed. These processes do not acknowledge time in the way we do. They move at their own pace, unconcerned with measurement. And because of that, there is no reason to stay alert. The mind does not need to prepare for anything that comes next. The slow movement continues. The balance holds, and the sense of time can remain loose, unstructured, open. By now, the details no longer need to stay clear. There is nothing new to understand, nothing more to explain. The ideas that have appeared can soften. They do not need to hold their shape. Stars remain. Their slow processes continue. That has not changed. The balance holds. The pace remains the same. There is no need to keep track of how one thought connects to the next. Sentences do not need to be followed all the way through. Words can arrive and then pass. Pauses may feel longer, or they may blend into the sound of the voice. The difference does not matter. The rhythm is steady, predictable. The voice continues without emphasis, without direction. It is not moving toward a point. It is not building toward an ending. The night remains quiet. Breathing continues, without guidance, without effort. The body stays supported. Nothing needs to be adjusted. The environment is unchanged. The same gentle repetition remains in place. Stars continue, slowly, evenly. Their long timelines stretch far beyond awareness. There is no need to picture them, no need to place them in space. They can exist as a simple idea, or not as an idea at all. Just a sense of steadiness, of things continuing without interruption. Meaning can loosen. Words do not need to carry information now. They can exist as sound, moving at a pace that does not ask for attention. The spaces between phrases are enough. If attention drifts, it does not need to return. If it returns briefly, it can drift again just as easily. Nothing here depends on focus. The same rhythm continues. Stars remain stable. Their changes remain slow. The balance does not shift. The voice remains present, but it does not need to be followed. Everything that matters is already in place. And as the details fade, the steadiness remains. The rhythm continues. Nothing shifts. Nothing resolves. Stars remain in their long, steady states. Their slow changes continue without interruption. The balance holds. Outward energy, inward gravity. Neither one moves out of place. There is no signal marking the passage of time, no clear boundary between moments. The voice remains present, but it does not ask to be followed. Words arrive, then fade. Sentences do not need to complete themselves. The spaces between them are enough. Breathing continues on its own. There is no need to notice it. The body stays supported. Nothing needs to be held. Nothing needs to be corrected. If sleep has already arrived, the sound continues without needing to be heard. If awareness returns briefly, it can drift again just as easily. Nothing here depends on attention. The processes being described do not change when they are not observed. They do not slow down. They do not hurry. They continue at the same pace they always have. There is no conclusion waiting, no final thought to reach. The night does not move toward an ending. It simply unfolds. The repetition remains gentle. The tone remains even. There is no reason to stay awake for what comes next. The words are no longer carrying information. They are only carrying rhythm. That rhythm does not need to be understood. It can exist quietly in the background, like distant motion, like slow cycles that do not announce themselves. Nothing more is required. The night continues. The motion continues. And the quiet remains.